Welcome back, Smooth and Crypto. I'm your host, Maxwell Smooth. We have a great honor to have Utah Crypto on the channel for the first time, talking about the new project that him and a couple other guys got going on, and it's called STAX. I'm really excited for this one and having Utah on the channel, especially just me and him alone on a stream together. It's kind of been a long time coming, in my opinion. So, without further ado, Utah, how you doing, man?
Oh man, I'm doing great. Getting excited, for Stacks and for all these other protocols that are coming out. I feel like it's the second wave right now of protocols launching, and I just love the direction that the ecosystem's heading in. Man, that supply's getting torched for TitanX, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's dropping faster than a lot of people are expecting, and it's really due to these new projects that are coming out. That we've seen certain narratives in Titan X in the beginning with the projects, and I think, like you said, we're really seeing a big second wave of innovation and growth on Titan X, and it's really showing through the liquid supply of Titan X, and also just how thick these LP webs are really getting in the background.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited, and there's lots of firepower sitting in different places. Also, no, no, nobody knows when or how or if they'll be used, but it's there.
Yep.
And I've been, DCAing into Shogun, trying to get my hands on some tokens over there because I think Shogun's going to be a ripper, man.
Yeah, it's really kind of the floodgates are going to be open after that 28-day minting. So, um, do you think have you been going into the auctions or buying more off the open market for that?
No, I've been going into the auctions and I've been getting, I mean, just looking at, my auctions that I've been doing, I'm doing a little bit better by going into the auctions versus market buying.
Hmm.
And I like to go into the auctions because it supports the system. You know what I
Very
mean?
true.
So, my goal a lot of times with these projects going in early is basically I don't I don't focus on price too much. I focus on how much I can accumulate at that point because to me that's the play. Get your hands on as many tokens as you can because after 28 days it's going to be much harder.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've already seen a lot of people recently this past couple days is I played a little bit slower in the beginning of Shogun. I knew the first like week or so was going to just be mayhem. So this past week or so, just doing here and there, and recently people been sleeping on it a little bit compared to the beginning. So I've been getting a good amount of coins through the auctions, and I didn't expect that. But overall, you know how things go. Things go pretty hyped up in the beginning, and then they lull off, and then right before it closes again, it gets a little crazy.
Yeah, I went in a little earlier than I kind of planned on. So I started at like day 2 or 3.
Yep.
And I didn't do as good those days, but you just never know because I know with Vault, I went in earlier and I did really good. So you just don't know, right? So I just DCA'd, but I can honestly say that I've been getting better value here in the last 10 days or so. Has been a
Yeah,
lot better.
absolutely. And um, Shogun's a beast, and I just can't wait to see what it does after that 28-day minting cycle, because it's pushing new tokens onto the supply and onto the market has its disadvantages, and but also it has its advantages of being a suppressed thing until it's fully let loose, if you will. So I'm really excited to see what that does, and it has been nuking TitanX supply left and right, and it's not that I didn't expect it, but it definitely is more than I thought it was going to do.
Yeah, for sure. It's like, whoa. I don't know if people are fully grasping it yet, but I mean, the big thing with Titan X for me has always been inflation, has always been the inflationary period. It's always been so many tokens out on the market. It's always been how much can we take off the market. And man, it's like I feel like we're on the downhill slide now for that part of it, and that benefits everything.
Yep.
You know, it's I like the ethos. I like it's working. From what I'm seeing, it's working perfectly because we're all taking that supply off the market, So that's the goal.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been really surprising how fast we're actually deflating, and it's all psychological barriers that we're really putting on TitanX, in my opinion. Right, all we've known is super inflation, and we haven't seen hyperdeflation done quite like this. And it's only going to get better and better. And, just how Bitcoin has a specific amount of tokens, there's less tokens for sale as time goes on. So with TitanX, it's like our perceived uh, kind of idea of what it is in the trillions of tokens. But what happens when we drop to the point where we're only in like single digit trillions and the total supply? Like, a lot of economic energy can push those tokens up like crazy. And we have over 100 trillion tokens on the market, so it's like, of course it's going to be a little slow. That is a ton of supply, but we've been erasing so much tokens every single day, and it's not going to go it's not going to get slower, in my opinion. It's only going to ramp up.
Yeah, it's like a snowball rolling down the hill right now, and so I'm really excited. If you've been here a long time, which I know you have, but for the people that have been Titan X from the beginning, this is a very big deal, and we all see what's coming. And I mean, people complain about the price, but I'm not that focused on it right now. It's more of what's happening as far as eating the inflation and seeing where this is going. And I mean, if you go on titanx.hub and you look at projects, what does that tell you? That tells you there's a lot of builders out there that see what's happening and they believe in this ecosystem and they're pulling the trigger.
Yep.
TitanX isn't very old and there's a ton of projects out and a ton coming.
Yeah. And, one of those projects that I think is going to have a really big impact on TitanX is STAX. And it's you're in it, and who else is doing it with you, just for the people to know?
Just me and Dude, the founder of Helios and E280 and I don't know, a lot of different protocols. But if you're in TitanX, Dude.
Yep, absolutely. He is a cornerstone in the community, and he's released a lot of projects. And obviously, we know he's not going to stop. And it's going to be really cool to see, what Stacks does. And yeah, let's just get into it. I mean, it's a great team you got, and overall, I'm just really excited for this new project.
All right, let's do it.
Awesome. Yeah, so I think how we're going to go through this is, for the people watching, I'm going to read through it, and Utah is going to, give me some pointers, give me some insight of what they were thinking while they were designing this, but also explaining exactly what it does. So the main bullet points are auto compounding, liquid staking, get longer pays better, access to premium pools. So I'm interested to see what that means. More consistent payouts, adaptable to stay current with the new staking protocols, buy and burn never dries up, NFT holders never get diluted. uh, you know, Tell me if I'm wrong, but this seems like a advanced, you know, better designed thing, system, protocol, whatever you want to call it, than a lot of other protocols. So, what do you think is the most bullish aspect of kind of these bullet points that you guys really wanted to accomplish when you were designing this?
Well, number one, it's the convenience because you can mint an NFT and you're getting rewards in all staking pools on TitanX. And we've also made it to where the contracts are modular. Every one of these has its own staking contract, so we can add staking protocols to it. And we integrated X28, so we can also add X28 staking protocols to it in the future. And basically, you're minting this NFT and you don't have to do anything. and you're going to get rewards every 9 days. And if you're managing portfolios for family members or friends or people that aren't really into crypto, you don't have to keep track of stakes all over the ecosystem. You just mint this NFT for them, choose the multiplier, mint the NFT, and there you go. I mean, honestly, there could be some fireworks in the beginning during minting as far as price action and things like that, but ultimately this is a long term play. And I mean, the liquid staking, you're not I mean, you can burn your NFT and get the token backing. You just won't get any more rewards. But if you don't want an NFT and you just want tokens, you're not locked into anything. You can sell those tokens at any time. So, and then as far as like access to premier pools, we'll say let's say the Blaze Diamond Hand pool, for example. You need to stake 4,000 Blaze to get into that pool. Well, what if a user doesn't have 4,000 Blaze? What if they can't afford 4,000 Blaze? Well, they're still going to get access to that pool through stacks because you're going to get rewards from all of that if you're an NFT holder. Um, More consistent payouts. You're getting paid every 9 days. Of course, smaller. There's going to be some days, some payouts are smaller, some are bigger, depending on the cycles, but you're getting something every 9 days. And then the buy and burn. So the buy and burn is fueled by staking rewards. So if you believe in TitanX and you believe in all these projects in the ecosystem are going to keep giving payouts because people are going to keep participating, constantly feeding that buy and burn. So the protocols feed it. It doesn't require users to do anything because once stacks gets rolling and gets to a large position, it's just constantly feeding that buy and burn. So it should never run dry. And if you're an NFT holder, your share never gets diluted. If you go into a staking protocol and big whales start coming in and staking, then you're losing your share. But with stacks, that never happens because your NFTs, these NFTs are only mintable for 28 days. And after that mint closes, that's it. No more will ever be created. So whatever position you have will only get better because people will burn their NFTs to get the token backing. They'll burn them when the price is right. And whatever they decide that price is, they're going to burn those NFTs. And those rewards are going to go to the NFT, the remaining NFT holders. And your position just increased also. So,
Yeah, that is powerful. And it seems like, I know Dude has released E280 and E369, but it just seems like the NFT projects that he has been, designing have gotten a little bit better each time they have came out. And obviously they do vastly different things. But this is I think a really good point in what you guys are trying to do is create an easy button for staking, and I think that's just super powerful. And having it through an NFT just creates so much simplicity to this protocol by you just saying, hey, I just want an NFT. You hold the NFT and you get paid out over time. I just think that's so awesome. And, it just creates a fun way of doing it rather than kind of having, like you said, multiple different tabs and computer screens and this and that going to track these stakes. This is just automated for you, and you get paid out every 9 days. So I think that's just super powerful.
yeah, I was completely inspired by E280. E280 was a genius idea, and I was like, man, that is so awesome. And I started digging into E280, and it wasn't long after I had an idea for stacks. Hey, what if we did this for staking? And I reached out to Dude, and he loved it, and here we are.
That's so awesome. So a user can come in and mint NFTs. Can they also mint tokens just straight up, or is it just NFTs?
Nope, there's tokens available too, and our token will be it'll be paired with the element token from E280.
Nice. Is that going to be the only LP that it has, or just a starting LP, or kind of what's the game plan for that?
Uh, it'll be the only LP that it has. I
Nice.
mean, if people wanted to add some in the future, or maybe, stuff could be added, but to start out, that's all it is. And what we want to do is we want to benefit E280 holders, right?
Hmm.
So E280 thrives on volume. Volume comes from buying and selling between the pairs also that are attached to E280. So the way that we do it is we'll market buy element to start our liquidity pools, and all our staking rewards and all our buy and burn, that all buys element first, and then element buys stacks.
Oh,
So we
wow.
should put a ton of buy pressure on E280.
Yeah, and not to mention, since your main LP is with Element, Element has LPs with absolutely everything. So whether you actually have specific LPs with everything else in the ecosystem, Element does. So by proxy, you're getting exposure to Element's all of their LPs by just being that main LP. So I think it's very simple way to have exposure to all of the tokens without actually having the LPs for everything.
Yep, I love it.
Yep. So sick. All right. Well, let's go to the tokenomics. So the minting is going to be 28 days. The cost is one TitanX for one stacks, and they're claimable after 48 hours. I think that's super important. That showed through Element 280 that 2 day cool off period really kind of helps the ecosystem and kind of the bad actors that are trying to make a quick flip, quick money, whatever. They got to kind of be a little bit more patient. So I think that's awesome that you guys are moving that towards this to stacks. The supply is going to be capped after the mint phase. So just like it says before, 28 days to mint. And it's going to be deflation forever after that. And then there's no taxes on stacks. So run me through kind of why you didn't do taxes and why was that so important to you guys?
E280, they have all those LP pairs, so that's why the taxes are there. So when the bots arbitrage, the users can get rewards. But the fact that we're paired with E280, so if you want to get out of stacks, you got to go into E280, and there is a tax on that transaction. So if you want to go in and start selling down and sell down E280, I mean, you can do it, but you're going to pay a tax every time you do it.
So, I mean, regardless, it's almost without stacks actually having taxes, you're still going to be paying taxes regardless. So, I get that. It creates a little bit more simplicity for the users of stacks, and being the main thing with that Element 280 having those taxes anyway. It's almost like having it without having it built in, and you get the benefit of having V3. You know, possibly on stacks could be on farms as well. So I think that's a super good thing that you have that, especially being a built-on Element 280 protocol. Cool. So let's go to the NFT specs. So minting 28 days, NFT immediately available for users to trade and earning stacks. So when you mint the NFT, you don't have to wait the 48 hours. You can just immediately get it after, and it's just the tokens. Is that kind of what I'm seeing? Or is it the minting of the uh, NFTs have that 48 hours as well?
NFTs have a cooldown of 9 days.
Oh, wow.
So basically, if you mint an NFT, okay, so basically, if people try to game the system by minting an NFT and then getting that 9 day payout and then dumping it, well, that's prevented because you have to wait till the next cycle before you can burn your NFT. If you mint, you have to wait one full cycle from when you minted it.
Nice. So definitely even slower and even more patience required for minting, which I personally love. And Typically when people get into a project, if they're in the project for more than a few days or a week or so, typically they're going to stay in the project from what I've seen. So I'm thinking this 9-day cool off period is going to promote even more longevity with new users coming in. I think that's a really cool kind of thing that you put on there, especially with people trying to game the system and get these payouts. Because the payouts get huge, people are going to want to get in there, and having the ability to make them pause and wait for 9 days to burn anything is really, really important. Okay, so supply capped once mint phase ends. So just a reminder, throughout these 28 days, you can mint NFTs and mint tokens. So after that 28 days, it's gone. I know it's pretty standard for TitanX users, but just wanted to kind of reiterate that. NFT tiers, you have legendary, rare, and common. And explain kind of how you changed the NFT, I guess, tiers, if you will, compared to what we saw with Element 280.
Yeah, this was all dude's idea. He's like, let's do something a little bit different here. And so we've changed the amplifier bonuses. So we've added super and LFG onto these NFTs. So you get big time reward multipliers. So this is basically, if you're a holder, if you're minting these to hold, multipliers are the way to go, in my opinion, not financial advice. But the thing about amplifiers is they're awesome for their rewards. But if you plan on burning your NFT quickly, you don't have token backing for those rewards. You only have the token backing for the original NFT. So you don't get those tokens back once you burn it. But if you're a holder, and that's what this is designed for. But if you're a holder and you want to mint NFTs with multipliers, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. And, so the backing of, let's just say, a legendary is 10 billion TitanX or 10 billion stacks, if you will. So the amp cost is added on top of that 10 billion, and that is burnt, or is it going somewhere? Where is that extra amp cost going?
So this is where it gets exciting. So during the 28-day mint phase, all amplifier bonuses are going to the buy and burn. And rewards for the NFT holders right away. So yeah, we're trying to get some power in that buy and burn, get a little bit of excitement going on during
Yep.
the mint phase, start buying up the token. So that's why we chose to do it that way. But after the mint phase ends, after the mint phase ends, it doesn't really matter, right? Because we're not
Right.
getting any more rewards. So that's just how we're doing it in the first 28 days.
Nice. Yeah. And, no shade on E280, but these amp costs for there went to straight burning of those tokens. So I think this is a advancement on that idea. And, nothing wrong with a good burn, in my opinion, but what can we do better and really provide even more value to not only the NFT holders, but the, token holders as well for stacks. So I really like that. And, we saw a ton of adoption with Element 280 during its mint phase, and we saw just how powerful that buy and burn could be for it. So I'm really excited to see, what the amp cost, the amp extra will do for it. And, for me personally, when I was minting token or NFTs and E280, I did amped on all of them because that extra reward, if you're long in the protocol, that extra reward matters. And I really think with what you guys are doing right here, progresses that idea that E280 started with, and it's going to really prove, longer pays better, in my opinion.
Yeah, you know how we do it in TitanX. Something gets launched, it was awesome. We see something we can improve on. we improve on it, everything just gets elevated. And like I said, this was all dude's idea, and I absolutely love it. He's like, he came up with the names and everything, and he's like, "What do you think about these?" I send it, love it, let's go.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that, man. And it really is going to be powerful, I think. And, you know, I love being long on crypto. It kind of creates a lot less stress, in my opinion. The longer you are, the better your mental is, in my opinion. So having something like this really just allows you to kind of sit back, relax, get your rewards, love it, play the system. And without burning your NFT, forever and always, you'll potentially get rewards. So I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah, it's so simple, so easy.
Yeah, I absolutely love it, man. Okay, so NFT backing, burn to claim. All the NFTs are backed by STAX tokens for each tier having a different amount. This adds additional value to the NFT price floor. So this is going to be backed by STAX. Is the amount ever going to go up or down, or is it just solidified at the NFT backing?
It's solidified at the amount of tokens.
Okay,
Price
cool.
appreciation may or may not happen, but the way it's designed looks good to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And we just saw through dude's other project E369, those backing are forever growing. So I just wanted to, you know, tell the people, hey, this backing is going to be here no matter what on your NFTs forever and always. So regardless of what the price is, I typically think more of how many coins it actually has or tokens it has, more so than price. So I just like that. And, when you're thinking of crypto terms, in my opinion, you should always think of how many tokens do you have? How many tokens are there? And just like we were saying earlier with Shogun, it's about coin accumulation over everything. People get so sidetracked with price of things that they forget that it's really about how many tokens you have because the math gets crazier the more tokens you have. So I think that's really, really powerful.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It To me, it just blows my mind. Like they're have a little bit of vision and a little bit of patience and do a little bit of math, and then you might come out with, "Hey, I think I want to do this." Not this why price down, when Lambo, all this Jeet stuff, you see in the chat all day, every day. It's like, what
Yep.
are we even doing here? Like, this is not like we're building out a freaking ecosystem over here. Like, this is not pump and dump. This is get your hands on as many tokens as you can, NFTs as you can, whatever you can. I mean, people need to understand, we are so early in TitanX, and the opportunity to get in early on projects is usually always the best play. And you got all these projects launching, and you can get in early on all of them.
Yep.
I'm accumulating. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, people get so sidetracked with the amount of price appreciation on things versus kind of what we're doing in general. And we've seen through other, legacy finance, right? I mean, you could talk about stocks, right? People fight tooth and nail to make 10% a year, right? But the reason why that 10% is so powerful is because they have a 40, 50, 60 year plan with their portfolio. Crypto is a what how much money can I make today or a week from now? So if you apply the same logic and the same amount of length in your time horizon and time frame, things get really crazy really, really quick. And I don't think people think about that enough. Bitcoin's only 15 years old, turning 16 soon. And we've seen what has done, and it's not stopping anytime soon. It's only going to get better with time. That is exactly what we're building over here. And I think it's so powerful, and not a lot of people really, really know the power of what we're actually starting to build over here.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Like, you got to have a little bit of vision here and a little bit of patience,
Yep.
and the numbers don't lie. And if you don't think this ecosystem's going to be around, well, look at all the people spending money out of pocket to build on TitanX, because we pay for this up front,
Yep.
out of our own pocket. And so if all these builders are building these projects and paying for it out of their own pocket, well, then they must believe, right? Because I know I believe, and I'm not spending this kind of money and time and all this other stuff for a pump and dump. Like, that's not what we're doing here. We're building solid stuff here.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, especially builders, have a long time horizon, but also a forever time horizon because these are immutable contracts and they aren't going anywhere anytime soon. So, um, especially with what I've designed, and I know through Stacks and other protocols you've been a part of, this is a long term, forever project, and it's only going to get better with time, and that's what's designed into these projects. Awesome. So let's go to TitanX distribution. So LP creation, first 200 billion TitanX from mints are used to create the NFT or the LPs, Element X28 LP and Stacks Element LP. So kind of tell me the reason, kind of why you guys went with both of these NFT or LPs, and kind of what's the benefit to having both of these.
Well, we just wanted to thicken up the element X28. And then, when we wanted to start our initial liquidity pool for stacks.
Yep. Awesome. So after LP creation, 100% goes to the buy ecosystem tokens and max stakes. So I'm really interested to see what these percentages are when Stacks comes out. And I'm sure it's not going to be immediate right then and there, but it'll probably be a little bit over time. Do you guys have a time horizon on what you guys are going to do with the staking distribution percentages?
Yeah, so um, we have an idea. We went over it yesterday. I think we'll probably show that the day before launch, which
Nice.
would be tomorrow, is the day before launch because we're launching on Sunday. So yeah, we've just kind of done, some numbers and figured out, how do we balance this? Because the thing is, we can change. We can change these percentages. If for some reason a protocol doesn't do well or the staking rewards aren't there anymore, we can change that allocation and we can go somewhere else. Like I said, this is completely modular. We can add, we can, change percentages and that, but we will definitely, publish what those percentages are before launch.
Yeah, and even if you guys have this modular system that you guys kind of programmed, at least being upfront with what's going on, what you guys are thinking right now and in the future, I think being upfront and honest creates the fairness of this project. And whether it has some type of system like this in place, at least saying, "Hey, this is what we plan on doing, and this is what could change this plan." I think having that is very important for the user to have at least a clear timeline on what you guys are trying to do. So I think that's really important, and to have the flexibility of being able to pivot and shift because the old narratives and what could happen couldn't and could happen are forever changing. So I think it's super important that this is flexible.
Yeah, we learned the hard way with the Inferno buy and burn, right?
Yep.
To being completely decentralized sometimes is not a good thing. You want to have
Yeah.
some sort of control, especially early on.
Yeah, especially with the volatility and with a big amount of people coming in and utilizing stuff, it could get really crazy fast and past your expectations. So being able to pivot and really kind of capitalize on what's currently happening in the market is super important. And we've seen it happen time and time again where that's the best play that could be done. So I'm fully okay with it. And as long as you guys are honest and upfront, I think everybody that's part of Stack should be okay with it, in my opinion. All right, cool. So the reward pool section, the rewards get filled with TitanX and X28 from staking payouts. All TitanX not getting compounded are converted to X28 and are distributed in the following way. So, kind of tell me your thought process through this, and why you felt like it was so important to have X28 being minted in your guys' protocol.
we couldn't pass it up. Soon as X28 launched and we realized what it was, like I think it was that day we both reached out to each other thinking the exact same thing. Hey man, we got to integrate this. So I mean, for people that don't know, when you push TitanX through X28, 50% of that TitanX is gone forever. It's burned forever. So basically what you have here with X28 is if you can plug this into your protocol some way and it makes sense, whatever you push through it is a 50% buy and burn.
Yep.
You know, that's better than anything that's been designed, you know, by any protocol. And it's so powerful for the entire ecosystem. So of course, just like you, costs us more money. Changes
Yeah.
cost money with
Yep.
devs, changes cost money with auditors, all this stuff, you know, costs money. But it's so powerful, not just for stacks, but for everything, for the whole ecosystem. And because we're all bonded so tightly with TitanX, anytime we can do anything to help TitanX, it helps all of us.
Yep.
And, you know, it's so powerful. That is so powerful. And so, anyway, what we're doing is we don't use all of it. You know, we don't push everything through X28 and we don't take it in on Mint just because it didn't really work with the logic
Yep.
um, for our protocol. But what we'll do is we'll push our rewards and everything that goes into the buy and burn, all that TitanX through X28. So over time, pushing all that through X28 constantly, because this is basically a benevolent well that never sleeps. And we're pushing all that TitanX through X28 forever. And it's so powerful and I love it. I love that we were able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys should be exposed to omni-chain as well through this, which I kind of it's hard to wrap my head around if using X28 on Ethereum will give you that exposure to the other chains or not. But overall, I think it's super important to be able to do this and create even less and less Titanx over time. So I think you guys over time are going to be pretty surprised with how much Titanx is not only converted to X28, but also burnt. So I really, really love the fact that you guys have that designed into that.
Yeah, and to add to that, you know, stakers are paid out in X28, or NFT holders, I should say, are paid out in X28. Rewards are X28. So what happens when protocols start building on these other chains and you want to participate in these new protocols? Well, you don't have to bring in fresh capital
Yep.
because you already got it. You've got your X28 drip going on all the time. So you're ready to go and we're ready to go. Our protocol's ready to go. We can add X28 staking contracts to it. So it was a no-brainer. We had to do it. Um, thank God we were in a place in development where we could backpedal a little bit and get it done. You know, so I'm super grateful for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said earlier, a little bit earlier in the stream, narratives change, and what you think is the right way to design something could always uh change on an instant. And when X28 came, it was, how can my project utilize this amazing technology and grow with the ecosystem? Because the view of what worked back then might not work now with the forever changing landscape. So it was awesome that you guys pivoted for that. Um, so this just shows kind of the auto compounding of X28 through the mint period will be 0%, and through the sliding scale, which will be day 29 to 299, will be 80 to 20 split, and then forever after 300 plus days, it'll be 20%. So why'd you guys taper off this and do it the way you guys did it for this?
Well, as you can imagine, if we're not trying to take over any protocols. We want to be a benevolent whale in every protocol, every staking protocol, but we don't want to take over any protocol. So we we design this in such a way that we scale down 2% every 9-day cycle by how much we compound. For that fact, right? Like we're not trying to be an enemy, we're trying to be beneficial to the ecosystem. So as we scale that down, the buy and burn goes up.
Yep.
So after 9 days, say after the 9 days, we go from 80 to 78 compound. Well, that 2% now goes to the buy and burn. And then the next time, now we're at 76% compound. Now 4% goes to the buy and burn. So if you do the math and you start thinking about, okay, what happens when this capped supply token that was only mintable for 28 days now has 60% of all the rewards from these staking pools buying and burning that token nonstop.
It's powerful.
That's powerful.
Yep.
And we honestly, the reason we did this is, we didn't want it to get so big and so powerful that it just, it was a beast in taking over everything. So that's why we did it.
Yeah, I like it, and it's at the end of the day, it's an advancement on what we view as benevolent whales in the staking. We've seen other projects completely grow and take over, so I think this is a really cool idea on kind of tapering off, but also the tapering off doesn't necessarily change anything besides how big that buy and burn is going to get through these payouts. So I really, really like it, and it just shows that this project has a forever mindset, in my opinion, because this stuff is not going to take a couple weeks to come to fruition, right? It's going to be long time, longer, view of what we think is possible. So I really, really like that.
Yeah, and I mean it's a whale that forever market buys. We only market buy. And when we market buy tokens, we push the price up. Buy pressure is what increases price. So say you're increasing the price of a token, and this token has a mining protocol, but the mining isn't that profitable. Well, we're market buying that token. We're pushing that price up. The ROI may now be profitable to mine. That auction ROI, maybe it just doubled, and people start going into the auctions again. So we really think it's beneficial.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is. Not only think it is, it actually is. So kudos to you guys for that. And the distribution, this is something that I really like that you guys did as well. So reward distribution to NFT holders will be callable every 9 days, but it only needs one single person to claim all of those X28 payouts for everybody. So I think it's so sick that one person can do the gas fee, get paid that little bit of reward for it, and everybody gets paid. I think that's really cool and creates such a more streamlined and less gas fees for the user.
Well, there may be a misunderstanding there, unfortunately. So we can distribute. Only one person needs to distribute rewards to all holders, but they will still need to claim.
Okay.
But
So
you
this
don't
is the
have to claim.
decentralized contract for claiming it for everybody, but everybody has to go in and claim it themselves still.
Yeah, you have to claim it
Okay.
yourself, or you can just let them sit and build up. There's
Yep.
no penalties for late claims or anything like that. So, you know, it gives the user the advantage of, okay, when is gas cheap? When do I want to pull some rewards? Do I need my money now? Can I just leave it there? Whatever I need to do. So yeah, no penalties, no time limits.
Cool. Yeah, and I'm glad you clarified that. Because you know when people think of this, view this, it kind of they think of what they're doing personally, and yeah, I'm glad you clarified that, and that makes a lot of sense because it's like, how would you decentrally claim people's rewards? You know what I mean? It kind of needs some individuality to it.
Yeah, that function alone would be so much code to
Yeah,
detect everybody's wallets and all this and who gets what. So
I could
yeah.
not imagine. Yeah, awesome. So let's go in the buy and burn. So the buy and burn pool has X28 and Element. that is used for the bind burn of stacks. When a burn is triggered by a user, the following happens. It uses X28 to buy element. The incentive fee is in element, and that's sent to the user, and the element goes to buy stacks and burn 100% of it. So this is powerful for not only stacks but also element. So kind of give your thought process on why you guys designed it like this.
Well, first of all, I want to benefit E280 holders. This whole idea was inspired by E280. You know, um, I love E280. The concept was groundbreaking to me. It was a paradigm shift, especially for NFTs because I'm not an NFT guy. Um, but we want to add, like I said, E280 thrives on buy pressure. It thrives on volume.
Yep.
So if we could route it through there, plus we're paired with it, bang bang. I
Mm-hmm.
absolutely, absolutely love it. And yeah, and like I said, the concept was mine, but when you start working with dude, man, he has some very, very good ideas. And this part right here, this was all dude. He's like, hey, let's do this and let's do that. Cause I mean, I want to benefit E280 holders, but the way to do it, that's where dude comes in. He's very sharp with this kind of stuff. So shout out to him. Looks like he's in the chat. Been so awesome working designing this protocol with him. Like, dude's very, very smart. And we think a lot alike about how we want to execute certain things. And so it was just, man, it's a bit too easy, honestly.
Hey man, that's why you guys are a
Yeah.
team on this, man. I truly think it's not about what you know, but it's about the people you surround yourself. And you know, dude is one of those guys, man. And ever since our streams early on, I felt that. So you couldn't have partnered with a better guy, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I wanted to show respect, you know what I mean, to E280 and to dude and to their communities. Like, I didn't want to go off and build my protocol, build something, that was inspired by them and what they've done. It's not necessary, you
Right.
know. Plus, he's already got the UI. He's got all that. It's like, you know what? Let's just add this as part of the E280 portfolio. Hey, now we have Stacks NFTs, and he loved it immediately. And here we go. I will tell a little story though, a little background. So, like, we have drawings that we work on and things like that, and just like whenever someone's available, they would flow diagrams and that it would be shared. And so I'd like go to jump on because I had an idea, and I see his mouse moving around, like looking at the same stuff on the drawing that I was thinking about. And that happened more than once, and it was like, yeah, I like working with this guy. Like, we think along the same line. So it's been awesome.
That's so awesome, man. Yeah, and shout out to Mo, donated 20. I appreciate you, Mo. Obviously, any donation helps the cause for making this internet crypto content. But he says Stacks is going to send LFG, Utah, and Dude are awesome. Awesome X. So, yeah, man, shout out to the Mo. I couldn't agree more. These guys have been in not only crypto, but TitanX for a very, very long time. And I'm happy that they're, not only teaming up, but bringing something to the ecosystem that's going to have such a positive impact over time. So shout out to you, Mo, for the donation, and shout out these guys for Stacks. Seriously.
Thanks, Mo. Thanks everyone in the chat. Sorry, it's hard to keep up with the comments when there's just two of us doing it. So
Yep.
appreciate everybody for tuning in.
Yeah. So I think we'll just run through some chats real quick, and then we can get into some Flare talk. TEDx, what's up? Sparky, what's up, man? Scotty Blaze, good afternoon to you as well. Sparky, yeah, the 9-day payout is huge. Hate delaying gratification. I think it's funny that this still has some element to delayed gratification, but it's a little more quick hits, in my opinion. So I love that.
Yeah, me too.
That's funny. Yeah, so love the E280 rare amped NFT. This is a gift that keeps on giving. Couldn't agree more. Smooth Crypto looks like a 1980s Fed. LOL. That's pretty funny. Hey, if I can only grow a mustache really well. So if I really growed this thing out, it'd get pretty. It hit it more head on, in my opinion. Stacks Baby LFG, Mr. Green LFG. Where can I find the white paper? TitanXHub.com. Go all the way down to upcoming projects, and you'll see Stacks coming in about 2 days' time. So they'll have the white paper, the UI, everything, and it's going to be on Element 280's website. So look out for that. TitanXHub.com has all of the safe links, so you don't have to worry about that in the future. Sparky, I love that it pays an X28. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, dude, I cannot believe someone burned in legendary E280 NFT. It's like I don't know what you're doing. Truly, they have no idea. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Oh, and shout out Flair. Can't wait for it. Damn, another 20 bomb, dude. You guys are Mo. You're too much. I appreciate you, man. What tier NFTs are you guys minting? LFG baby. Yeah. So I've been pretty much in the what is it? The rare. So I haven't did any legendaries in my opinion. I do rares and commons and I just stack them up just to have a little bit of flexibility in the future. Utah, I'd love to hear your kind of thought process and what you would mint and why you would mint that.
So I also like the flexibility, but I don't want to keep track of a million NFTs.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
on E280, I minted a bunch of common amps. Everything's amped, right? For me, everything's amped. So I minted a bunch of common amped, and then I minted some rare amped, and basically it just kind of depends on your portfolio size and how much you plan on allocating to it, But I wouldn't mint, like one, legendary or, LFG or something if you don't plan on holding.
Yep.
I would split that up so you could sell some when the time is right and still have exposure to the protocol. Now, if you're a major whale and you plan on minting major, it might make sense to do that.
Yeah.
But I know one thing. I minted some for me and I minted some for my kid. And I went to send him some and I was like, man, all these common amps, I can't send them. So he got the other ones, man. I was like, what the hell,
Mm-hmm.
So I gave him, so I gave him the rares, the rare amp. I don't even think he knows he has them, but he does. And my thoughts are those are 3 cycles for him.
Yep.
Burn one each cycle. Should be worth quite a bit, I think. And they're just so easy. Just mint them and forget about them, Don't do anything. The value of these things could be astronomical, not financial advice, but look, pay attention to what we're doing here.
Yeah, absolutely. The Mo porn star stash or crypto star stash. Yeah, man. Crypto star. I kind of like that. But yeah, maybe in the future. It gets to that 2 week mark and I just want to shave it. So I like a clean shaved. I can't help myself. But yeah, man. So I appreciate everybody for commenting stuff and obviously the Mo, thank you for donating $40. That's crazy and I'm truly grateful. That's so awesome. Yeah, so what we could do is switch over and do some flare talk. So what I'll do is just run through it and Utah, if you got any questions or whatever you want to do, just bring it up and we'll go through it. Is that cool?
Hell yeah, let's go.
I bet. Yeah, so Flare is a combination of a lot of different protocols, in my opinion. So we have a 11-week distribution phase, and that will be on Fridays. You can come in, mint your tokens based on a ratio, and claim them every Saturday. And throughout all of this minting and after minting, we will have daily auctions in between. So I wanted it to be as safe and as fair and as slow as I could make it for minting and give everybody a good opportunity to mint as many tokens as they can. And it would create a lot of FOMO, in my opinion, throughout the week, seeing those daily auctions happening to potentially make that minting even more profitable. So that's the gist of what it does and how it's minting. But obviously, we have some different things under the hood, if you will. So this just shows your minting. So every week on Fridays, they'll have 24 hours to mint. On that next day after the 24 hours, you can claim at any point. There's no 24-hour lockup period. It's just you mint it right after that 24 hours on that day two, or whatever day you're claiming them. You can claim them whenever. So day one will be minting. Day two, you can claim them, and the auction start on day two. So um, the ratio will drop every week. It'll drop 0.02, starting at 1 to 1 and dropping to 0.8. This was really important, in my opinion, of creating a good ROI, a potential good ROI by the time minting comes back around. But also, if you just found out about it on week 11, you're not getting, 1 to 0.2 ratio. You're getting still 0.8 to every one you put in. I think that's still very fair. But overall, it's a slow taper. So, you got any questions at all, Utah?
No, but I do have some comments. I think that's a really good idea, honestly, because if people just find out about it, they want to get in. I'm looking at week 11. I would mint that. That's that's still a good ratio. And with Inferno, we didn't pick up steam till the end.
Yep.
We didn't pick up steam till maybe week 4 or something. So, yeah, I think it's good. I really like that.
Awesome. Yeah. And, I wanted it to be very focused on new users coming in. So it says one TitanX to one Flare, but you can also use Ethereum as well. So the two inputs for Flare are going to be TitanX and Ethereum. In my opinion, I'd love for only Ethereum to come in. It's because it's going to have such a better impact on TitanX, just as E280 did. Once they did TitanX and Ethereum, I was just sold. I said, if I make a project, it absolutely is going to have both inputs. They just utilize so much potential with Ethereum. So definitely just love that, and wanted it to implement that.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the new standard. I know, we're doing it on Stacks.
Yep.
It makes it so easy for people that aren't in the TitanX ecosystem just to come in.
Yep. Yeah, and on top of makes it easier, it creates a lot less gas fees. So if you are an Ethereum user and you want to get in on Flare, you don't have to convert and spend money on converting to TitanX. You can just spend the gas fees on actually getting into Flare systems. So I want it to be as streamlined as possible for new users, and I think this accomplishes that.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Awesome. Yeah. So the minting and the auction allocation is exactly the same percentage. I didn't want to over confuse anybody, and really having different ones kind of did that. So we made it the exact same. So 44% of the Titan X or Ethereum. So all of this is with Ethereum as well. So of Titan X will mint X28 and be used to buy Flare from the X28 Flare pair, being sent to the buy and burn. So the X28 is going to sit in the buy and burn, and once it's called, it's going to buy Flare off the open market through this LP. So this is going to be the starting LP of Flare X28 and Flare. 32% is will mint X28 and be allocated towards the daily auction pool, and this will buy Flare all the next day through 180 calls. So if $1 million comes in, 320 grand will be bought that very next day. So this will happen every single day. This is programmed to buy Flare off of the open market and be put into the auction pool. So 76% of everything is going to auto mint X28. So in theory, 38% of the Titan X will be burnt forever. And this is just so powerful.
Yeah, and shout out to you for going back and doing that. because you were at a point, you were almost done, I think you were saying, with your protocol, and the next 28 came out, And like I said, those are out of pocket changes that the builders have to eat the cost on that, but honestly, it's a benevolent act for the entire ecosystem, because any protocol that can do this, it benefits everybody. And who benefits when you benefit the whole ecosystem? TitanX holders, you know. So, shout out to you for doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I knew when X28 came out that I had to pivot, whether it was utilize it as a input token or do something. And the thought and kind of came to auto minting X28, and that allows the burning of TitanX, which helps all the users in TitanX, but also keeps a lot of the same economic energy within the ecosystem. And with TitanX and the liquidity between that, we've seen with X28, right? The price be somewhat pegged to Titan X, but the overall market cap to liquidity is just so much different, right? The market cap's around 6 million and liquidity is at like 2.6 or 2.7 million. So I really like how early we are in X28. And I think with a lot of projects like Stacks, like Flare, that are constantly, you know, boosting and promoting the use of X28, it's going to be really powerful. Not only right now, but once we start going omni-chain.
Yeah, and I brought this up the other day when I was on stream with cryptographics. It's like, okay, look how much Titan X has been taken off the market by being pushed through X28 already, right? And it's only being used for one protocol currently. It's only going to Shogun. What happens when these other protocols kick up and start going through it, man? That supply does not have a chance.
Yeah, it's really really crazy and interesting to see. So yeah, I'm just so bullish on X28. Um, yeah, so 8% of the Titan X is going to be directly sent to the Inferno buy and burn. So a lot of people had kind of questions on why I chose this. I really, really like Inferno. I think with all the projects being built onto it, I think it's, in my opinion, a no brainer sending it to their buy and burn. Because at least at first, Inferno is going to be our second biggest LP with Flare. But you never know what could happen with these LPs and how much uh Inferno can actually do. So it might at some point be our biggest LP, just depending on kind of what happens. And having this buy and burn allocation is going to be promoting that growth of not only Inferno but the LPs as well that we have with Inferno.
Yeah, that's extremely bullish for Inferno and for Flare, I think. Because there's a decent amount of liquidity in Inferno. So, and Inferno supply's getting torched too. 60% gone now, I think.
Yep.
So, yep, awesome.
Yep. And 8% of the Titan X is going to be used for liquidity webbing. So with Flare, we are going to have all LPs with the deflationary projects in Titan X. And some of those are still inflating and some will be capped at a certain point. But overall, we want it to be as leveraged to deflation as we possibly can. And having all of the LPs with the most deflationary projects within TitanX is a really strong liquidity web, in my opinion. And not to say that being associated or linked together with the other projects are more inflationary. This will just create such a dynamic deflation aspect to Flare that already has a lot of deflation programmed into it.
Okay, that is bullish. That is, yeah, that's very important for people to pay attention to what he just said, because that 8%, it adds up. And so, yeah, building all those pools up, yeah, I think that's a very, very good idea. And everything that you're doing it with is deflationary or soon to be deflationary. Man, that could have some serious firepower. I like that.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it's Just kind of how I did with Flare. It's like, what could I improve upon on the system? And, we haven't seen LP webs with only deflationary projects in TitanX. So it's going to be really interesting to see kind of how these LP webs, go over time. But overall, it's pretty powerful, in my opinion, just being associated with capped deflation, hyper deflationary projects. So just couldn't be more bullish.
Yeah, I never even thought about that. Honestly, that thought never crossed my mind to do that with deflationary protocols, and you being a deflationary protocol and constantly adding to that. Man, that's genius, man. Good job.
Thank you, man. Yeah, this is like certain things that come to you, and everybody's different. But when I have an idea, I have to write it down, and that was one of the ideas. Right when E280 came out, I was like, man, what if I built a project and the LP web was only with deflationary projects? Like, what would that look like? And I'm happy that I'm implementing that into the project. And all of these LPs will be V2, so they're going to be forever compounded back into each other, forever growing and thickening these things up. So I just couldn't be more bullish on it.
That's the secret sauce right there. I like this. Yeah, that's huge.
Let's go. Yeah. And then 8% allocated towards Genesis. LP pool creation. So, like I said, initial LP will be with X28 and Flare. And these are all going to be V2s. So, they're going to be compounded back into the LP, forever helping thicken the LP. And we've already seen with Shogun what that can look like. And Flare is just going to be another add on and thought process for that, and just to see what type of crazy uh you know LPs and bots and what these arbitrage bots can do with these deflationary LPs is going to be really interesting to see.
I think it's awesome that the bots are working for us now. You know,
Hell yeah.
after E280 was a paradigm shift. I'm telling you. E280 is just it's all of TitanX, right? Every time somebody builds something, they integrate something like new or improve on something, and everybody's like, whoa, that's such a great idea. And then the next protocol says, hey, we want to do something like that too, and everything just gets elevated. I love it. And in the process, TitanX is getting torched.
Yeah, all along the whole process. So it is just so bullish to see these LP webs, and I'm hoping to advance upon that idea and really create a ton of LPs with fully deflationary things, but also have the flexibility in the future to constantly add more and more LPs to the either add more LPs or thicken the LPs up. Either way, it's a great thing to be flexible on. Awesome. So daily auction pool mechanics. So each minting week, 32% is going to be added to the daily auction pool. And the auction pool is going to start with 1 trillion flare within it. So when we were doing our math, a lot of what was happening without this allocation to start with was the pool was drying up a little bit quicker than we wanted. The moment we added this trillion into it, and it seems like a lot, but the amount of balancing and longevity within the system once we added this was unmatched. So yes, this isn't going to be minted from TitanX, but it's going to be a slow release of this over time, and it's really going to promote so much longevity and healthiness to Flare's daily auctions, which create that flywheel that continues the motor pushing and pushing forward. So um, it was kind of like a design idea that we had a little bit later on, but it made all the difference. And so the daily auction, same thing, is going to have 32% added to that. So 11% of the pool is going to be used daily for the minting phase, and then 5% of the pool will be used after the minting phase, just creating a little bit of a taper off, create a little bit more longevity and healthiness of that auction pool.
Yeah, that's a very tricky balance right there, and you can only model so much and do so much math because there's a lot of unknowns. But if you don't have um, enough supply to keep things going, I mean, you can be too deflationary too fast.
Yep.
So you got to have something to where people want to stay engaged, people want to participate, especially with auctions. You want to keep them coming back. So yeah, good job.
Thank you, man. Yeah. And I didn't want to add the trillion. I wanted it to be just whatever's minted is used, but then it was like it would be better to wait a couple days until the first auction to let the pool fill up. But then, there's a whole bunch of back and forth that was happening while we were doing the math on it, and the trillion in there evened it out, in my opinion. And I have high expectations and goals for Flare, and throughout this 11 weeks, I'm hoping that it has way more supply than you know, I just want people to mint, and this will allow the minting to become super profitable, good ROI potentially. Obviously, we don't know what could happen, but this just helps with everything. Okay, so the buy and burn. So one thing I really liked was Inferno's buy and burns. You know, timing, schedule, percentages. So just like Inferno, Sunday to Wednesdays, 4% is going to be used each day. Thursday will have 10%, and Friday and Saturday will have 15% each day. So this just creates kind of that upward push right when projects our Flare is going to be going to mint. So this is what I really, really loved about Inferno, that once minting happened, obviously there was a little bit of sell off, but as the week progressed, we constantly that ROI was just slowly ticking up, and by the time the minting came by, it was profitable again. So this is one thing I really wanted to put into the ecosystem of Flare.
Yeah, I love that design. I was not part of that design. I think it was Steve DeFi in Bad Sports that came up with doing it that way. Man, so bullish because that's exactly what you want, because if there's ROI, then there's minting. So if you're doing your buy and burn that way, and it's exciting and it keeps the users engaged, it kept me engaged because like, oh
Yep.
yeah, we're cranking up that buy and burn today. Let's go. And I was in on every mint cycle for Inferno.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. It's like I have to mint and do all this stuff on my own protocols. I got to play just like everybody else. You know,
Yep.
Man, I tell you what, those mint cycles for Inferno with the team and the community and all that, and the buy and burns kicking up, some of my funnest times in crypto.
Yeah, it was huge, and we saw how powerful this was. So, one thing I want to expand upon is what would that look like, but with daily auctions pushing this even harder. So, I just wanted to advance or put a different spin on what could possibly become, and nothing against the uh, protocols that have the minting through daily auctions. I think that has its own benefits and disadvantages. This is just a different spin on what we've already seen, and how crazy that these minting periods have went with this style of minting. This just creates a even bigger catalyst for minting, in my opinion.
Yeah, bullish.
Cool. So there will be a buy and sell tax. I was going to do a transfer tax, but if I really think about how a whale will treat the system, and I dispense or disperse my crypto as well. So through the taxes, I wanted just to be whoever's buying and selling on the open market, that is going to be taxed. And if you're just sending stuff to wallet, I didn't want that to be taxed. So it's only on buys and sells. There'll be an 8% through the 11-week mint phase, and then it'll drop down to 2.8%. So 3.5% is going to be sent to the auction pool. Since it's already in Flare, it's very easy just to send it to the pool, and you don't have to do anything crazy. And then 3.5% is burnt forever. So this isn't a buy and burn, but having it just a straight up burn still has a lot of advantages to it. And regardless of what happens with the auction pool or the minting, this will at least create deflation over time, regardless of what's happening. And
So
then,
that's a burn tax.
yep,
I like that.
yeah.
Anybody else doing that?
I don't, I don't know. I don't really think so, to be
I
honest.
don't think so either, man. You got some nuggets in here.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I really
little
like
tiny
that.
things.
That's very, very smart.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I was really contemplating how heavy I should do either side to it of the daily auction pool fill or the burn, but it's kind of like picking between your two kids, you know what I mean? And if you spend more time or percentages on one side, the other side doesn't gets less affected by it. So I kind of just decided just to split it evenly just to create a little bit more balance.
yeah. That's another nice little deflationary, mechanism built right in
Yep.
forever. That's going to happen forever through the life of this protocol.
Yep.
Very,
And
very smart.
hell yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Utah. Yeah. So the 8%, I felt like, you know, we are programmed in the real world that we're getting hit with crazy tax percentages, right? And in crypto, 8% may seem kind of high, but that's only through the 11 weeks. And I love that there's projects that don't have any taxes. So I think with Flare, we need the taxes, and a 2.8% tax after the mint phase, I feel like is a very fair and low amount of tax. I mean, at the end of the day, some Ethereum transactions are going to have higher slippage than 2.8%. So I think it's pretty fair to have a little bit of a tax, promoting longevity of the daily auction pool, but also burning tokens forever.
Yeah, I think it's a great insurance policy. Like if you want to come in and mint all these tokens and dump all these tokens immediately, well, you can do that, but you're going to benefit the protocol in some way for doing that.
Yep.
So, yeah, I don't think benevolent players and people that are a little more long-term mindset have any kind of issue with that, especially when it's benefiting the protocol that they're holding the token.
Yep.
Um, the Jeets just come in and try to game everything, and that's fine. And if there's profit there and you want to do it, that's fine. But it's not free, and you're going to benefit the protocol for the other people that are long-term minded. So I really like that.
Yep, absolutely. And throughout this 11 weeks with these arbitrage bots kind of buying and selling and through all these LPs, they're all getting hit with that 8% tax. But once the mint phase is done, it's almost like every single arbitrage bot is going to make an immediate 5.2% extra on every single trade. So, and obviously they'll fix it and kind of create ratios better and get it closer to a little bit more of a break even with a little bit of percent. But having that drop off should help right after mint phase, kind of helping those arbitrage bots go even crazier.
Yeah, I love it, man.
Yeah. So, you know, this is basically it. But one thing I'll expand upon just to remind people with the buy and burn and the auction pool balance, those specific percentages are also going to be programmed to, buy flare, either burn it or store it in the auction pool. But every time those are bought, those flares are bought, those are going to get hit with that tax as well. So people who are gaming the system are going to get hit with tax. The arbitrage bots are going to get hit with tax. And the 76% of program buy pressure that Flare has on it is all going to get hit with tax. So this is going to be super, super powerful in the long term for the protocol.
Yeah, that's awesome. That helps with longevity for sure. Because no matter what, supplies getting burnt. Even just that 1% right there that I'm seeing. But that 1% is like that's nonstop. That's
Yep.
happening all the time. That could do some serious damage.
Hell yeah. Yeah. And I'm trying to build as a deflationary project as I could buy or to build. And this is one of those things that could have a really big potential on creating a super deflationary project. And, you know, it's to be seen the mixture of the daily auctions with the weekly mints. So I'm happy that Flare is going to be one of the first projects to do that, and to see where that goes. And I'm hoping that it's so successful that people actually take that style of minting and daily auctions. Just kind of how we've seen, you know, after Volt, a lot of people did daily auctions. So I'm just super bullish on kind of what I've created, and it's a different spin, but it's not a brand new thing. It's kind of just a reinvent the wheel kind of project.
Well, it's what TitanX is all about.
Yep.
Taking the best of the projects that we love and implementing them into one. That's what TitanX is. That's what TitanX, you know, does, and it's very good. And then the builders just come and they improve on that. And then they take the best of whatever they've seen and they integrate that. Now you've come along, you've taken the best of what you've seen and you've integrated that. And it's so powerful because these protocols that we're cranking out over here are no joke. I
Yep.
mean, we're leveling up everything over here in TitanX, man. I love it.
Hell yeah. Yeah, man. I just, just the ethos that we have, but also from where we started in the beginning, right? Titan X was a culmination of 4 or 5 different projects. And it's cool and very interesting to see how these new builders, including myself, come in, take what they think is the best aspect of each individual project and kind of create a little scientific, culmination of what they think is a good project and what they think is good tokenomics. So it's really cool to see, and I think it's going to be a forever growing part of not only Titan X, but what we actually bring to the whole crypto industry as a whole.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's out there doing what we're doing here in TitanX. This
No.
is, and it's amazing and it's so exciting to be part of. And it's so awesome how all the builders support all the other builders. And you could jump in a Telegram chat and talk to a founder,
Yep.
you know? I mean, you really can. And it's like, we're, we're not the VCs. We're not the suit and tie guys. We are users just like you. And we're building stuff that we would like to participate in, you know?
Yep.
Super exciting, man. I'm getting pumped on Flare.
Hell yeah.
Any nuggets? Any nuggets? We look at what are we looking at? January?
Yeah, so I mean, in all honesty, we should be going to our first audit anytime soon. Testing has been going great. The front end is looking great. So once we do that, I mean, we're hoping definitely in January, hoping early mid to late January. I say that, but in January sometime, and hopefully there'll be a little lull in projects coming out in January, and hopefully Flare finds a nice little spot and release great time because it's 11-week minting, so we're gonna have 11 weeks of exposure to the broader crypto market, and it doesn't stop after that. So I'm hoping it's perfect timing with this, and yeah, man, I'm just super super pumped on it.
Yeah, I really like what I'm seeing here, man. You've few little tweaks here and there sometimes is all it takes. And I've liked some of this stuff that you've implemented in here. It's very good.
Awesome, yeah, man. I appreciate that big time, and it's always great to have. I have my own views on crypto, but it's also great to hear other people's views on not only crypto but also something I built. And hearing that from you means a lot, seriously. So I really love Flare. I think it's a simple name, cool idea, and I cannot wait until everybody sees the UI. I mean, it's going to be sick. So I'm super pumped on Flare. But yeah, any questions before I close the white paper out?
Nope, just keep us posted on launch date. Make sure you smash the like, subscribe to Smooth. OG, been here forever. I remember when he started interviewing Jake, right, at Titan X launch or maybe even pre-launch.
Yeah, it was pre.
So yeah, you've been here a long time, and I'm pretty sure you were one of the first guys that ever talked about Blaze and had us on. So there's some history there, man. You've been here a while, so it's awesome. I'm glad we finally got to stream together. You know, I appreciate you having me on.
Hell yeah, man. I appreciate you coming on, man. I know it's been a long time coming, and we've been on streams together, through proxy and whatnot. But having a one-on-one is always great, not only to get to know you, but also I always think conversations between two people really just create not only a bonding but a good conversation and live stream for the people. So I appreciate you coming on and talking about stacks and love hearing your input on Flare. So yeah, man, Utah, always a pleasure, and thank you for coming on.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Stacks, we're launching 2 p.m. December 22nd, which is Sunday. Minting will be live. 28 days.
Let's go. Yeah, so 1 day, 19 hours and 32 minutes until stacks were launched. So everybody, TitanXHub.com, upcoming projects. It's the number one project on there for a couple days on the upcoming projects. That has all of the right links to the white paper, Telegram, Twitter, and the website. So please, if you haven't been familiar with everything that's going on, read the white paper, get in the Telegram, ask questions, and a lot of people will answer you. So yeah, man, stacks, I'm so bullish on it. And I think what you guys have done is pretty innovative, and it's a expansion on previous ideas. So I couldn't be more bullish on it. Yeah, man, Utah, thank you for coming.
You bet, buddy. Let's go.
Let's go, man. Yeah, so I appreciate everybody for watching, viewing, subscribing. Always leave a comment if you have questions. I will answer them, and I appreciate everybody for being here. Smooth and Crypto. I'm your host, Maxwell Smooth. Until next time, we're out of here. Peace.